Y'all, let's go ahead and get into Girlfriends, episodes 11 and 12. Okay. So, you guys, the episode starts off with Joan flirting with a client. I mean, very unprofessional. Very, very unprofessional. I was like, why? Why is this happening? Especially because William was sitting there and the client was playing footsie under the table the whole time. Problem is, he's playing footsie with William. Okay? William was very uncomfortable and decided to excuse himself. Later on, Joan takes the client home for a date. His name is Frank, I believe. But yes, Joan takes Frank home for a date. Okay, I kind of felt like, no, if you don't make this man take you out for dinner or something, like, why do you have him at your house for dinner? You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was just me. But anyway, Lynn keeps bothering her, okay, because Lynn is now making jewelry out of metal and paper clips and shit, okay, basically going to Joan's office, stealing supplies, and then going home to Joan's house and making jewelry with it. Yes, that's what she's doing. Then Tony comes in, talking about her new man, Keith, who just brought her all of this jewelry. He brought me this necklace, this bracelet, and these earrings. Oh, it's like, oh my God, Tony, please stop acting so excited. Like, it's jewelry, it's cute, it's so nice. I get it. Pull it back a tad bit. Seems a little thirsty, a little parched, but I feel like that is Tony. As much as she tries to act as if she's all in control of her sexuality and she in control of herself, at the end of the day, I really feel like sis is thirsty. She's just thirsty for a rich man and not just any old poor one. So Joan has to kick their cock-blocking asses out because that's exactly what they were doing. Now, while she and Frank get cozy on the sofa and they start to make out, all of a sudden, Joan starts to feel a tug at her Milano Blancs. Okay, I think that might have been what those were. They might have just been some regular, heels, but Tony wants those heels. So she's taking them off of Joan's feet as she is making out with Frank on the couch. I just kind of felt like, yeah, bitches are doing too much. Bitches are doing way, way too much. So the next day, a crazed woman shows up at Joan's office saying that Joan is sleeping with her husband, and she knows this because she followed him to Joan's house. I was just like, oh, wow, this is getting messy. Maya throws in interference. Then Lynn shows up, okay, and almost ruins the situation because Maya was trying to get the crazy ass lady to leave, thinking that Joan wasn't in her office, okay? Lynn almost let the cat out of the bag. But they get the psycho to leave after she stabs a donut, okay, or a muffin, whatever it was. Either way, they have to go in Joan's office and tell her what just transpired outside, okay? Frank is married to some crazy ass woman who violates muffins. Joan is like, he's not married. Frank's not married. He's not married. Oh my God, of course not. I would never date a married man. He's not married. And then we get into generalizations about black men being dogs. And, William comes in and adds that black women are crazy. So I just kind of feel like we're throwing a lot of generalizations around and I'm uncomfortable with it. Specifically because I feel like this is not a situation that just happens to black women. White men do this all the time. They cheat on their wives and they lie about it. A lot of men cheat. A lot of men of different ethnicities, nationalities, pews, creeds, sexualities, and everything else cheat, okay? Just like some women cheat. So I just kind of feel like the idea that we can put being a dog all on black men, kind of annoying. And if we really wanted to take the conversation a little bit deeper, then we would be honest with ourselves about why men have a disconnect and why some black men have a disconnect from the black family or from building a family with just one woman. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot that goes into that, and it has to do with slavery and separating people from their families. And then let's not even get into the whole funneling kids from the inner cities into the prison. So, they might impregnate somebody, but then if somebody's not growing up with a dad, okay? A lot of people aren't growing up with a dad. So I just kind of feel like we're throwing a lot of generalizations around and I'm uncomfortable with it. Specifically because I feel like this is not a situation that just happens to black women. Like, this is a situation that happens to black men all the time. So, growing up with a dad. So I just kind of feel like when you look at all of those instances and how that has affected us collectively, I feel like a lot of that has to do with our existence here in this country, because I feel like in other places, primarily in Africa, from what I understand, there is more of a foundation in family, and that goes all the way around to everybody living on the compound. So we all take care of each other. Family is a big deal. We're all out for the entire family, not just for self. We don't have single family homes like that. You know what I'm saying? We do, but a lot of the times it's a compound with like 10 rooms. So our whole family can be in this one home. Like, that is what a lot of other nationalities live like. They don't live like Americans who are just single family homes and it's just mom, dad, and kids, if that. So I feel like you can't just put that on being Black. That has a lot to do with our experience here. And it also has a lot to do with men trying to run from responsibility and being free as long as they possibly can. And for a lot of men, no matter what their color, marriage is considered lockdown. Relationships are considered lockdown. Kids are considered lockdown. So they would prefer to have that, yes, because it raises their profile. Married men do better in business a lot of the time than single men. So yes, it does a lot for them, especially if their woman helps them in their business in some type of way, or if they have children, she stays at home and makes everything comfortable, then shows up to be an arm piece. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot that goes into this, and I feel like they were just making these crass generalizations about why Black men specifically are considered dogs. And I feel like I said, it goes deeper. Now, as far as Black women being crazy, I feel like that also goes deeper. But I don't even want to give that any real credence, because at the end of the day, like, expressing yourself angrily is not something that is exclusive to Black women. So miss me with that shit, okay? Tony brings her new man over to Jones, and he tells her that, he's so glad that they were able to come over to her girlfriend's house because his wife is so crazy and he thinks that she almost caught them the last time they met up. So now we're like, so wait, is it Jones' man or is it Tony's man? So Joan goes to lunch with Frank. Okay, she's like, I heard you have a wife. The goofy laughing and shit. Okay, he denies it all, and then she pours a Bloody Mary on his head and walks out on some waiting to exhale shit. When she gets home, there's a large A on her door, I'm sure for adulterer. And I was just kind of like, bitch is going far. Like, I'm sorry, but there's no way that crazy ass bitch would have been putting A's on my door and chasing me around without the police being called or somebody's getting cut or shot at the kneecaps. Okay, I don't want to go to jail for attempted murder, but I do want you to understand, you're not going to come into my house and threaten me with my own sculptures and think you're going to live to tell the story. Like, they are so lucky that this is a comedy and not a dramedy, because bitches would have been shot. Okay, I'm sorry. Sis was going far. So Tony admits that she's dating a married man too, thinking that she and Joan are in this together. And then Lynn shares a story from when she was dating a married man. And of course, Maya has to be, the voice of reason. Y'all are ruining Black families. You know what I mean? Lynn is like, first of all, I was ruining a white family. So charge it to the game. Tony says that she's been using Joan's place to cheat, and that's when they realized that it was her man's crazy ass wife, and it wasn't Frank's wife. Okay, that's what they think. All right. Even though I appreciate Maya's perspective about this, because I don't like homewreckers. I really don't. But I also understand that no matter how much I don't like it, the shit happens, and it happens a lot. So I feel like if people would just be real about what the situation is, maybe change what the rules are to their marriage. Marriage does not have to be a one-size-fits-all situation. What works for you may work for you. What works for another couple, you know what I'm saying? It just depends on you. But I also feel like Maya is a little young in the way she thinks about things, because we know in later episodes, okay, I can't remember whether that was season 1 or season 2, she's going to be out here cheating on her man. Okay. However she cheated, you're going to be out here breaking up Black families too. So I think that people have a certain perspective when they're younger. Things are a little bit more cut and dry. I think as you get older and you have more experience in life, starts to get gray. I'm going to just say it like that. Jones says that you need to talk to your man and tell him to keep his crazy ass wife away from my house. So later that night, while Tony is in the bed with her man, she tells him that his wife is stalking her friend Joan. And then he admits that he's not really married and that he lied and said he was married so that the relationship wouldn't, get too close, that she wouldn't think there was room for growth or anything. I was just like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Like, please kick him the hell out of your place. Like, wow. She was like, you're a liar. It kills me when women think because they're the side chick and they know about the wife, that means the man won't lie to you as well. Yeah, no, that's not how any of this works. If he'll do it to her, he will do it to you. All right. Savannah learned that message on Waiting to Exhale. Okay. Like, I don't know what's wrong with Tony. They'll just replace the last bitch with you and then make you have to deal with that from another female later on. Like, he gonna cheat on you eventually with somebody else. It happens like that sometimes. But we have noticed that there are a lot of times when, sometimes you just don't marry the right person. And, the cheatation is what actually breaks it up versus, y'all trying to stay in a marriage anyway. Because people will stay in a marriage unhappy as shit. I've seen it. 40 years go by and you like, why are y'all together? Because it's been all these years. Child, you can't convince me that all these years is a good enough reason to be unhappy in my own damn house. So Frank's wife shows up to Jones again. And Lynn says that he was actually coming there to buy some jewelry for her because she was like, I knew he was coming over here, so I thought I would head him off when he stopped to get flowers from the gas station. Okay, gas station flowers? It better be a nice gas station. I mean, it's LA. It's probably a nice gas station. But Lynn somehow convinces her that he was coming there for jewelry. William shows up, and then when Joan realizes who the lady is, because Tony comes in and is like, oh, girl, this is, because Tony had come in. And I guess Tony thought from their conversation that the lady knew what was going on and was no longer upset about it. Like, she painted an A on Joan's door. And you think all of a sudden she's fine with her husband screwing Joan? What, Tony? Like, just dumb blonde moments all the time, okay? Joan comes from out the back of her house and Tony is like, oh, girl, this is Frank's wife. And she's like, Frank doesn't have a wife. And the lady is like, yes, I'm Frank's wife, okay? Like, like, it's just way too much confusion. Then when William came in, Joan pretended that William's name was Frank, okay? And that, oh my God, I don't know why you're in my house right now, but I'm also with a man named Frank, and this is him, not your Frank. But then Frank comes in with the flowers, and then Lynn tries to save the day. Oh, thank you for the flowers. Here are your bracelets. And everybody thinks it's all good. The wife is like, I don't know why you think I would like this type of jewelry, but I guess you're trying, so it's okay. And then he says he's a changed man, which we know lies and bullshit, okay? The fact that he was like laying it on thick like that, I think really pissed Joan off. You know what I'm saying? But she was about to let it ride. But then Maya comes in and it's like, oh, what this crazy lady doing with your man? I'm like, oh, so you don't remember who the lady is and who she said she was? And what we thought was going on in the very beginning? Really, Maya? Everybody was just coming in doing way too much about the mouth this episode, okay? I'm sorry, but they was. So now, homegirl is trying to kill Joan with her own sculpture. And she's like, I didn't know. Wait a minute. Why are you trying to kill me? I'm not the one that lied to you. He lied to us. We are victims, okay? And then the wife is like, you know what? You're right. So she sets her sights on her man, but then stops and then swings at him. I was just kind of like, girl, you wasn't really trying to hit nobody if you was going to stop, pause, wait, take a beat, listen to Joan, then try to hit him, child. But they all chase after him after he says that Joan came on to him. I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's what we really don't want to hear. I was so glad when everybody started to chase his ass out the door. Like, ooh, Lord, I hate when men say shit like that. And it's always used to excuse some like terrible behavior, like cheating or assault. So later on, we see that Joan and his wife, who is soon to be ex-wife, put a billboard up all over LA. Okay, one in the area where Joan is and another at his job, saying that he was a dog and the women of LA should beware of his dog ass. It's a good episode. I love how we ended with the women coming together and everyone not, staying on this vibe of let me be mad at the woman because my dude can't be trusted. Okay, because babe, like that was not the first time he cheated on you, obviously. So why are you out here chasing down side chicks when you know your dude is the problem? Girl, pull it together. Pull it together. Let's move on to episode 12, shall we? So everyone, and I mean the girls plus William, are making lists this episode of what they want in an ideal partner. Okay, so everybody makes their list at the table. Maya actually said that she made her list in high school, put it under her pillow, and the next day she met Darnell in class. And I was just kind of like, oh, girl, I guess. Like, there's so many things that I would want in a man that I could not possibly know about him in high school or even college for that matter. So everybody goes to an art gallery and they're on the lookout to check off some of these boxes on their list. Joan chases after a man named Sean, who she meets. He knows about art. He knows about jazz. He doesn't seem to be that interested in her, but that does not stop her from throwing herself on him and chasing him around the art gallery the entire night. Maya chases after food the entire night. Yvonne chases after William. Oh yeah, she was security at the museum. Y'all know this is about to happen. She done popped up way too many times since they went on a little date. And Tony runs into her ex, the poor artist, Greg. Okay, from what we understand, Greg tore that ass up and had Tony out here, living hand to mouth, poor, sleeping and fucking on the floor. And she wasn't here for that. So she had to drop him and set her sights on richer men. But obviously she still has a soft spot for Greg. Okay, child. We know about it. Everybody got one. So when everybody's about to leave and say their goodbyes, Joan is waiting for Sean to give her his card. When he does, she then says, oh, no. I'm the woman. Okay. You call me. All right. You chase me. And it's just kind of like, why were you then standing there waiting? Like, were you waiting for him to ask you after you had come on strong the entire night? Now you want him to ask you out. After you've been pushing up on him the entire night, he tried to walk away from you and you was like, oh, are you going that way? I'm going to go with you. Yeah, he was trying to let the moment go. And I just kind of feel like this was like a foreshadowing of Joan and Sean's entire relationship. So you guys, when it comes to Greg, Tony's mind is telling her no, but her body is telling her yes. Okay? He's broke and she isn't going for broke. She doesn't want broke, but he be calling up. I mean, listen. She tried to call him, but he ain't had no phone. Like either further knowledge that you don't really want to be with this man. But sometimes people's penis will sway your senses. It's the truth. It's the truth of the whole situation. Sex will fuck your head up. Okay. It will have you choosing people you know you shouldn't be choosing just because of how they make you feel physically. Almost like a drug. You know it's a bad decision, but you're still gonna do it. So you guys, Yvonne and William, I'm going to call her by her real name, Yvonne. This entire time, William has been calling her Yvonne, and it's not that. It's Yvonne. So Yvonne and William run into each other down to the bar, and he suggests they try to date. They've seen each other over and over again. Oh, why not give it the old college try? She thinks they're too different. You know what I'm saying? He's an elitist. He's a Republican. She's a Black female police officer that's going to nut check you. Yeah, may not be exactly the best match, but after they finish talking about how different they are, they make out passionately in this bar full of people. I'm going to pass over the singing because I don't want to go there. So it's been 5 days and Sean has not called Joan. She's tripping out about it. See, that's why you gotta not get caught up if you're not going to be assertive yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna be the one oh, I'm gonna call him or I'm gonna text him. If you're not gonna let the ball be in your court, okay? When he gave you his card, the ball was then in your court. So you could have called him and, had a conversation, set up a date from there. But now, since you had to control the situation, and now you're trying to wait for him to call after you did all of that, yeah, you're giving yourself a headache, my girl. Oh my God. Lynn tells her that maybe it's because she was all over him. Joan tells Lynn that she can never make a decision about anything, so nobody needs to hear her opinion on this, okay? And I was just kind of like, why you gotta play the homegirl like that? Okay, yeah, she may not have her shit together, but you still thirsty. After Joan finishes going in on Lynn a little bit, like, bringing up all of her issues in life, child, that really hurt Lynn's feelings because she went off on her. She was like, you ever think that maybe the reason why you can't keep a man is not because of them, but maybe it's because of you? She storms out. And then Maya and Tony give Joan the real. She was doing the most, and she needs to play the damsel in distress. And Joan somehow thinks that this means that she's supposed to be giving up her freedom as a woman or something like that in order to be with this man. And that's not what any of us are telling you. Anybody that is submissive to their husbands, okay? And I say that with pause because I know what it sounds like and I don't like it myself, but I also know what it means. And I know how, as a woman, when you are strong, you have to sometimes play it back to your man because society does not allow for them to be weak all the time or not be in the position of strength. So for them, they feel like they need to be in that space because that is what societal norms put on men. Okay, from the time, most men anyway. Okay, so I feel like you have to sometimes play into that. I need you, help me with this. You have to play into that so that they can feel needed. Because if not, women can sometimes do everything without any help. We can do that sometimes. We shouldn't, but we can. Men, on the other hand, child, if they didn't have a mama or a woman, what would they do with themselves? Tell the truth. Okay? Child, I don't know. But I'm just saying, you have to sometimes play the damsel in distress, especially when you've come on way too damn strong. And that's exactly what Joan did. If she had played it back that entire time, she wouldn't have to now play the damsel in distress, but she'd made a damn fool of herself. So what's she gonna do? All right? So she takes her friend's advice. She goes down to the gallery and she runs into Sean, and she gives it another try and says, I know. I'm always trying to control everything, but I'm trying to get better at it. Just give me another chance. And I just kind of felt like that was way too much begging for a man that you only had like a few conversations with. Like that continued the issue for me. Like just me feeling like Joan is always in a constant state of thirst. I wish somebody would give the bitch some water. Okay? Because she's so thirsty. Like even the way she went at him in the moment, like this manic, nervous, pick me shit. Even though you're a lawyer with your own place, strong black woman, and I don't want to play the damsel in distress, but then you show up on thirst. If you play it back and act uninterested or disinterested, whichever one it is, because right now I don't know. But if you act uninterested in a man, most likely they'll bite. You just have to be alluring. You have to have some shit about yourself, okay? And Joan has ass, and she has to squint. Okay, you got to squint when you have a lazy eye. So she has to squint. She knows how to do it. She raises her eyebrows, she squints, she stands up straight, and she pokes her ass out. She knows what to do. So all she has to do is do that and walk away. And if he doesn't bite, then he doesn't bite. But you damn sure don't chase a man around an art gallery. Girl, don't do that. So I guess she and Sean are going to try to date. All right, we'll get further into that in episode 13. But Joan buys Lynn the red triangle painting that she was obsessing about all episode to apologize for treating her like shit because she couldn't deal with the truth of the matter, which is that she's thirsty. She still hasn't fixed this issue. But I'm glad she apologized to Lynn because Lynn did not deserve that. Okay. And then Lynn is like, child, I've been staring at this damn red triangle. And now I'm like, why? I said, girl, you better take that investment. You don't have shit else. Eventually that painting will be worth a lot of money. You better take that. Stop asking people for money all the time. Hawk that shit. Sell it to a gallery. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to be grateful. That's what I felt like. Okay. Child, Lynn work on my nerves sometimes. You know, she be right. She's like the Sophia of the bunch. You know what I'm saying? I always liken shows to the Golden Girls because I feel like all shows with like a 4 to 5 cast uh, females, they always in some way play into the Golden Girl situation. Okay. And for me, I feel like Maya and Lynn kind of take turns with the Sophia role. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like Maya could give you a little bit more Dorothy, in all honesty, but I feel like they kind of go back and forth with the Sophia role, which are the people who are blunt and honest and tell the truth sometimes, no matter how it hurts your feelings. And I feel like Lynn always does that. So I feel like Lynn is definitely more so the Sophia, and because she's a dependent. And Sophia was a dependent. Okay. But yeah, y'all, that was Girlfriends. I promise I'm going to stay on them every week. Okay. I'm back on it, y'all. I actually need to go and watch 2 new episodes of Lovecraft Country and everything. And I need to watch the rest of Bridgerton. That'll be happening in the next few days. But you guys, don't forget to check out the panel tomorrow night on Monique's YouTube channel, Tea with Monique. I'll be a part of her panel. I'm really excited about it. So I'll be over there. Also, thank you to everyone who's been supporting my Station Head show. I was actually #1 over there this week, and I thought that was like amazing. They're like some really huge people on Station Head. So the fact that my show did so well this week, like, I think that's really dope. So thank y'all for supporting. It is now on Android for everybody. There are some kinks to still work out, but you can get on when I'm on there and hopefully call in. But I love you guys. Thanks for the support, and I'll see y'all in the next one.